Hey everybody, it's Matt Schmidt here, and I wanted to create this video because I think this is something that's really, really important, something that everybody should be doing and at least thinking about, and that is growing your t-shirt business. We're going to talk about the next steps for success once you've gotten yourself a system that you've mastered, and now you want to increase the output of that system. So, we're going to talk about growth. Growth actually means one of two things. You can be increasing your output, but also you could be improving your ROI. And the thing is that you can develop this whole game into a system that one man can do, and you could do that up to a certain point. But you should consider outsourcing once you have a system in place. The reason for that is that what happens if you're sick, or what happens if you got to go out of town? Um, you don't have to be there 100% of the time when you outsource. You also can increase your output by essentially replicating yourself. So, what should be outsourced in terms of a t shirt business? Your designer should be a number one thing. If you're designing your own shirts, you really got to decide who you want to be in this world. Do you want to be a t shirt seller, or do you want to be a designer? If you want to be a designer that sells t shirts, I'm sorry, but it's probably going to take you a long time to achieve some of the goals that some of the other people out there are doing. Now, I might be wrong for one or two cases, but 99% of the t-shirt selling Teespring viral style represent world is people doing t-shirt selling and not necessarily designing their t-shirt and then selling it. So get yourself a designer. There's plenty of skilled people out there, and now the market has developed to a point where there's plenty of skilled t-shirt designing people out there. And we'll talk about some resources here in a second. Launcher. This is the page and t-shirt launcher who does the routine tasks of setting up pricing, setting up colors, setting up title and headline and description, and options, and setting up your page, maybe creating a page, a new page, posting that ads image, and everything in between. This is very routine work that could be outsourced to somebody in a very simple way for not that much money. You can pay them $4, $5 an hour, and they can launch all of your shirts probably in a handful of hours. At the end of the day, think about the amount of time that it takes, and then think about what you would be ended up paying. Say it was an hour. Were you willing to do an hour of work for $5? Are you worth more than $5 an hour? The answer, if you're watching this video and you've gotten to this point, the answer should be yes. So anything where that's the case, you should be outsourcing. Also, a researcher. A researcher is somebody who can go out and find designs in niches that you select, or based on certain criteria or conditions that you want them to go out and research and come back with design ideas for you. You don't have to be doing that to be successful, and there's plenty of resources and plenty of ways for you to direct people to those resources in order to find designs in the niches that you want. I haven't done t-shirt research in quite some time, and I can tell you that it hasn't slowed us down. As long as they're looking for the right set of criteria that I have outlined, we get back quality designs for us to model after and scale out in our business. Now, an ads manager, this is where it's going to get a little bit trickier. But if you've gotten to a point where you think that you can go ahead and trust someone else with ads, do it step by step. There's several people that do it. I've done it for a while. Having somebody else manage your day-to-day ads based off of training that you give them on your strategy, on your methods, at least doubles your output if you do it just one person. But you could do more than one person. You could do 5 people, you could do 6 people, all creating ads. You could be the guy that reviews the targeting that's done, but not have to go through the grunt work of creating ads. They can be taught just as you were taught. So get in that mentality. An accountant. An accountant can basically be somebody who's monitoring the money in versus money out. He could update some ROI sheets for you, like Albert has outlined in this course. These things can be trained out, and frankly, they're probably going to be a lot better than you at it anyway, because they are trained in this profession, and I know that I'm not nearly as good at numbers as my accountant is. Now, finally, a project manager. A project manager is going to be somebody that essentially replaces you. This is going to be the final step. This is where you're going to elevate yourself to a CEO level, and you're going to have the project manager running the day to day. I've done this for a while, and I just have a update of how my team is doing. I have a project manager who is the same person as my ads manager, and they are running the day-to-day business as I direct the team at a CEO level. That's what I want to do, but what you need to decide is what's most important for you. Decide what you want to do in your business. Again, if you want to go back to being the guy that designs t-shirts and also sells the t-shirts, that's great, but that's for you. It's going to be really hard to scale at that level though. What do you want to do? Do you want to be the guy running the ads on the day-to-day basis? But are you okay with everything else being outsourced? Then do it. Do you want to work on your business or do you want to work in your business? I choose to work in my business. I choose to work on my business. I choose to work on my business so that I can do whatever I want. I want to create another business. I have more than one company. And so I want to create companies and run them at levels after I've gotten it to a point where I can outsource and put myself to a CEO level. You will have to overcome some trust issues. That's granted. Once I started giving my ads account to somebody else, it was scary, to say the least. But if you go through interview processes, if you get people on Skype, if you talk to them, if you test them, if you see that they know what they're doing, you can overcome these trust issues. Are you a t-shirt seller or are you an owner of a t-shirt selling business? That's my last question for you for this slide. Just think about that. So resources, if you do want to outsource, a couple of resources for you. Odesk, which is now called Upwork, which happened very recently. Headhunters are out there that can go and find you very reliable people and interview them for you. And then for a designer, Odesk, you can find pretty much everything you want, and I have. But 99 Designs for a designer, you can get some really, really high quality designs from that site. As far as communications with your team, two things I could recommend are Skype or this new application Slack. Slack's relatively new. It might take you a little bit of time to get used to, but it seems to be pretty robust in comparison to Skype. But last thing I want to leave you with is start the process. If you have a system mastered, whether it's Albert's system, whether it's my system, whether it's your personalized system, you haven't mastered, begin outsourcing piece by piece. Do not do too much at once. And I misspelled do here, but do not do too much at once. The reason for that is if you try to outsource too much at once, you're going to stop your t-shirt business to a halt. My recommendation for you is that if you were at the point where you wanted to launch or you wanted to outsource a launcher, be there with them as they're launching pages, be there with them as they're launching your shirt, correct them if they're wrong, but continue the process. So fit them in exactly where you would do it in terms of time. And then you can trust them to do it overnight. Maybe my team works for me while I'm sleeping because of the time zone difference. So never be out of your business. Run it like a CEO. A CEO is a person who's checking reports, getting updated by the team, probably the project manager if you've gone that far, and just making sure that their hand is in it, but not necessarily the one that's driving the car. You are directing everything. Your vision is what's being worked for day by day. but you're not the guy that necessarily needs to be doing everything. We are here to master a system, and if you want, you can now take that system and piece by piece send it out to other people, and together replicate yourself, grow your output, increase your ROI through more people monitoring it and more people making, that accountant's going to help you watch every dime, and he might catch something that you might have overlooked. So you want to increase your ROI. You want to grow your output so you can sell more t-shirts and have more money coming in the door, and that will help you grow your business. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this makes sense for you. I hope you start the process of outsourcing, and then I hope this has been good, Schmidt. Take care. Thanks a lot.